Hello everyone, today I want to talk to you about China's giant unmanned aerial vehicle, the Attack-11, with footage of it flying in the air now revealed. Also, a former WTO Secretary-General said that the US-China rivalry will last for 50 years, but the US should make sure it has enough electricity before talking about competing with China. That time, Xi Jinping and US President Trump reached a temporary agreement to halt the trade war at the end of October in Busan, South Korea, but the outside world remains skeptical about any real peace between China and the US. On November 10th, the South China Morning Post quoted Pascal Lamy, who served as WTO Secretary-General for 8 years, as saying, he believes that the competitive situation between China and the US in trade could last for as long as 50 years, with global supply chains and key industries facing increasing risks, and he urges companies to make long-term plans. Recently, at an event at the China-Europe International Business School in Shanghai, Lamy said, in addition to the competition between China and the US, which is shifting from trade to the weaponization of strategic industry supply chains, the relationship between the two countries will be full of twists and turns and is likely to last for decades. Lamy believes that the geopolitical competition between the two is unlikely to weaken, since both China and the US have ambitions to become the world's number one, yet they also see each other as threats. Therefore, the relationship between China and the US will go through ups and downs, swinging back and forth. He believes that aside from Trump's high-profile tariff measures, a broader trend is emerging, namely decoupling in strategically sensitive areas. At the same time, areas with comparative advantages are being weaponized. In the past, the rules of the game between the two countries were to export as much as possible, but now the new rules are to reduce exports, focusing on products with greater strategic significance that can serve as bargaining chips in political negotiations. Lamy's view makes sense. China and the US will keep competing until a true winner emerges. And the competition between China and the US inevitably centers on high technology, especially artificial intelligence. The US wants to restrict the sale of advanced AI chips to China to suppress China's development, but China has already developed its own AI chips. On the other hand, AI requires a lot of electricity, and China has ample power supply, whereas the US is often short on electricity. Recently, Bloomberg published an article lamenting that the US technology industry, and even the broader economy, is facing major challenges. It mentioned that there are 2 data centers in the US which are being developed by Digital Realty and Start Infrastructure, respectively. Because there's no way to supply electricity locally, these data centers have been left vacant for several years. The most ironic part is that both of these data centers are located at NVIDIA's headquarters in Santa Clara, California. With NVIDIA's promotion, the boom in cloud services and artificial intelligence has driven an unprecedented surge in demand for data centers. However, electricity supply has become the biggest bottleneck, mainly due to the aging power grid infrastructure in the US, slow construction of transmission lines, and various regulatory and permitting obstacles. Digital Realty began constructing a new data center in 2019, but 6 years later, this project is still just an empty shell waiting for full power to be supplied. Meanwhile, Stack Infrastructure has a nearby project that requires 48 megawatts of electricity. These facilities also remain vacant while the city's own utility company, Silicon Valley Power, is working hard to upgrade its power capacity. The pressure on the US power grid is only set to intensify. According to Bloomberg New Energy Finance, by 2035, just the electricity demand from AI computing in the US could double. Even the already renowned CEOs Jensen Huang and OpenAI's Sam Altman have both made similar predictions. There are also trillions of dollars being invested in building new AI infrastructure. According to Dougherty, Executive Vice President of Data Center Solutions at real estate firm CBRE Group, the demand for AI infrastructure has never been this high. This is truly a power supply issue. Developing large AI language models requires massive data complexes. In comparison, what Santa Clara is working on now, the 2 data centers there are relatively small in scale. Those massive data complexes are currently being built in places like Texas, Pennsylvania, Louisiana, and New Mexico, where electricity prices are lower and large-scale power facilities are still under construction. In contrast, the data centers in Santa Clara, California, are relatively small and mainly serve local cloud customers. In order to reduce the latency caused by long-distance data transmission, they are willing to pay higher rent and electricity costs to use local data centers. For example, companies involved in stock trading or operators of autonomous vehicles require information responses within microseconds. Even the slightest delay could cause them to miss out on major trades or lead to traffic accidents. Of course, some data center demand must be located close to population centers, which is why there is a need to build in California. However, data centers in California can't go online due to power restrictions. According to a city council report from May, there are currently 57 active or under construction data centers in Santa Clara. As for the power company, spokesperson De La Vega said they are carrying out a $450 million system upgrade. To meet the needs of those clients and others, this dedicated project is scheduled for completion in 2028. It will take more than 2 or almost 3 years to finish, which is certainly a headache for those waiting for electricity. From this year to next, the energy company says the time required to connect large data centers to the grid is expected to increase by 1 to 3 years, and in some cases, it could take as long as 7 years. Now let's look at the data center corridor serving Northern Virginia, which is the largest computing hub in the world. Meanwhile, Sadler, a spokesperson for a data property company in California still waiting for power supply, said that waiting 3 years to obtain energy is actually quite normal across most of the United States. However, in high-demand areas like Silicon Valley and Northern Virginia, the wait could be even longer. He said that in Santa Clara, California, if you find a piece of land today and start applying for new electricity, you might have to wait several years. But we don't want to fall behind. They are currently working with Silicon Valley Power, aiming to get connected to the grid before 2020-something. To sum up, first, you want to go big on AI, but there's a serious power shortage. On average, it takes 3 years for a data center to get connected to the grid. This is something truly unimaginable in China. Second, I also know of large companies investing in and building massive data centers in many places across the mainland, and I've never heard them worry about power shortages. Their main concern is the cost of electricity in different regions and provinces, and they're not even most concerned about chips. Their top priority is customer demand, so they always secure big clients first. For data centers, for example, you have to first sign contracts with companies like Alibaba, and only after agreeing on the chosen province or city will they proceed with construction. If the US wants to compete with China in AI, but faces such severe power shortages, that's going to be a big problem. Also, I want to talk about China's latest attack drone, a drone that made its debut at the military parade on September 3rd this year. I saw it in person and was truly amazed because it's a massive, bulky aircraft, almost as big as a fighter jet. Seeing it pass right in front of you is really quite a spectacle. If you believe it, its payload capacity is said to be enormous. At the time, they didn't reveal its model, but now the mystery has finally been solved. November 11th marks the 76th anniversary of the founding of the Chinese Air Force. In a promotional video released by the PLA called Dream Institute, there's a scene where an elderly man sees a new machine, and this drone is referred to as Yuanlong. It's a stealth drone that can work in coordination with the J-20, a fifth-generation fighter jet. In the video, there's an elderly gentleman in 1997. He started a small shop at an airport, and his family has close ties with the Air Force. In the video, a giant drone then appears, rolling out from the hangar. This drone is called Yuanlong 08, and afterwards, there are scenes showing the Yuanlong 08 taking off and flying. Afterwards, the Yuanlong 608, together with a J-20 and a J-10 fighter jet, form a 3-aircraft formation and soar into the sky. In the video, a female pilot calls Weilong 1, Yuanlong 08 has reached position 6. Another male pilot responds, Weilong 1 received, already coordinating with Yuanlong. The code name for the Yuanlong drone is Weilong. This conversation is about the Yuanlong 08 drone working together with the J-20 in joint operations. It is a stealth drone. Then there is a scene showing the elderly man who opened the shop with a patch on his head. A triangular aircraft shadow flies overhead, and the elderly man exclaims in surprise, "Look at that thing!" He's referring to the Yuanlong 08 drone. The Yuanlong 08 shown in the video is the same large drone that appeared in the September 3rd military parade. According to CCTV Military, this is the first time footage of China's Air Force manned and unmanned fighter jets working together has been revealed, demonstrating their joint combat capabilities. This is also the first public disclosure of the Yuanlong 08. According to the People's Air Force, the official name of this aircraft is the GJ-11. The GJ-11 is a domestically developed Chinese drone with a tailless flying wing design. It features excellent stealth performance, long endurance, and high attack precision. It can carry out missions such as air superiority, assault, and air defense suppression, making it an invisible killer on the battlefield. The GJ-11 is about 10 meters long, has a wingspan of 14 meters, a takeoff weight of up to 10 tons, and a payload capacity of 2 tons. It can operate over a range of more than 1,500 kilometers and has an endurance of over 6 hours. As for its endurance, it uses a blended wing-body aerodynamic layout with neither vertical nor horizontal stabilizers. All its weapons are stored inside its large, bulging internal weapon bays. Its air intake is located on the upper side of the fuselage, and the engine exhaust nozzle is flat and has now undergone special shaping for stealth. This unique design allows the GJ-11 to have an extremely low radar cross-section, making it highly stealthy. The rear of the aircraft has also been specially treated, not only adopting a low radar cross-section design. Moreover, the jet exhaust nozzle uses a flattened design, which allows for the mixing of cooling airflow to reduce the density of the engine's exhaust plume. This significantly lowers the infrared radiation signature and enhances its infrared stealth performance. In addition to the basic tailless flying wing shape, the side edges of the GJ-11's flaps and ailerons are also beveled, which greatly enhances its stealth capabilities. As the core node of special defense operations, the GJ-11 is designed to penetrate enemy air defense networks and carry out the first wave of door-kicking attacks. Its integrated intelligent mission system can support autonomous attack routes, allowing it to operate independently or in joint missions with manned aircraft. It can also work together with fifth-generation fighters like the J-20 as an unmanned wingman, forming a stealth Wolfpack tactical formation to coordinate attacks as a squadron. The GJ-11 is also capable of performing strike missions on its own. According to a June report by the American website The Drive, a model of the GJ-11 stealth unmanned combat aircraft appeared at the Changdao training base in Shanghai, not far from where the Type 076 amphibious assault ship is being built. This indicates that the GJ-11 drone will be deployed on board, showing that the Chinese Navy has already taken the lead over the US in this field. The Drive estimates that the naval version of the GJ-11 is specifically developed to be paired with the Type 076 amphibious assault ship. Or in other words, it will become part of the future carrier-based aircraft wing for China's Navy aircraft carriers and the latest large amphibious assault ships. As early as 2021, Aviation Industry Corporation of China showcased in a promotional video the GJ-11 using electronic warfare systems, directed energy weapons, and air-launched munitions to carry out swarm attacks against enemy surface vessels, demonstrating its formidable offensive capabilities. According to American media, even if the GJ-11 is not equipped with weapons, it can still serve as an important addition to the carrier-based aircraft wing because of its powerful reconnaissance capabilities. It can extend the fleet's targeting range, monitor enemy aircraft carriers and fighter jets. This carrier-based stealth drone can detect high-priority targets, especially US Navy carrier strike groups, and provide real-time target data for them, serving as positioning information for missile strikes. To sum up simply, first, China has officially announced that the GJ-11 drone and the manned 5th-generation J-20 fighter will conduct coordinated operations, meaning China's aerial Wolfpack has now fully taken shape. Second, the GJ-11 has also been deployed on carriers, further strengthening China's already formidable anti-access, area denial, and strike capabilities, while the US has yet to deploy large carrier-based drones. In this field, the Chinese Navy is already ahead of the United States,